Okay, so the market missed the target by a point, and then there was some pretty decent sell-off. Let's go take a look at the chart and see what it means and what it looks like for the rest of the week here. So, okay, so coming into the open, actually in the live trade signals prior to the open, we tried buying here. It went up a little bit. We moved to break even. It came down, and then once we got open here, we did it again. So we bought here again at 30.75. We had a stop down at 29. So came within 2 ticks of our stop, and then came right back up here. We ended up covering everything around 40 quarter, I think was where we got out of it. Anyway, so 4250 was I talked about this in MAP, and 4250 was the midpoint here. So that was something that 42 quarter, and the high there was 4250. So then the pullback right here, 37, a little bit of a reaction back here to 36, and then a push to 44, which we really wanted to see this 45 at a minimum, and that didn't happen. And it was a pretty decent, I mean, it spiked up here and then it never looked back up here again, and they sold it again when it came back up over here. So one of the things that we talked about in MAP, let me go show you here. So in the morning it pulled back down to here, and then we said, let's see if I can go find this for you. So we said needs to get back up. So at 8:52 we said needs to get back above 39 quarter. And so that was at 8:15. And then the next, and then a little bit later on said that it's more like 39.50 now. And you can see that they got to 41.40. So they broke it by 2 ticks, not really the most convincing break ever. And then came right back down, and then came back up and came to 39, which we had the CP here at 38.75. And then we had said that it had moved up a little bit to that 26.75 area, but bottom line is what happened is we had this move down here was basically enough. We said kind of a last chance at 21. And I did want to show you actually, so we'll come back to this in a second. We'll talk about how to manage a trade like that. But in MAP we said that could bounce back to that 31 quarter area. We obviously had the CP here at 30.75, but at this point this was a break, and then the move back up to here, and this was for selling. And where did it come? It came within a tick, came to 13. That's 1 tick away from our CP down here. Kind of double bottomed over here, and then this move over here. So far in the Globex, we can see what's happened. They're back at 26.75. So here's the thing: is that they came down and they held the CP, and we said this morning, one at a time, take it as it comes. We said it could come back all the way down into the 90s down in here. And that's not entirely off the table at all. So we'll talk about in the morning what this will look like, but this was not good. And more so, what was not good was breaking down over here. And then, so let's look at that real quick before we wrap up here. So I want to show you, so how do you handle a trade like that? So here we go. So looking at a 1 minute chart, just so we can get a good idea of what this actually looked like in the moment. So when this broke, let's go look at it. Okay, here we go. So what happened here? We had this 21. This was actually when it came down here. So we had talked about with our in map, we said that 26 area, if that didn't hold, this basically this KP. So notice what happened. Once they broke, they literally came back within a tick right there. So depending on what your, and you don't know what this looked like as the candle was forming, but depending on your appetite for risk, and if you can hold through something like this, it comes right back up and you can literally get out of it with, you know, a tick or two loss. So and then if you tried it here, notice we had 21, it broke 21 by a point and a half and then came right back to it, to the tick, and then probed down here a little bit and then came back up. So that 70, just for the bigger picture. So anyway, what I'm saying is that why would you put a stop right down here when I would say 80 or 90% of the time this is the kind of reaction that you're going to get. So even right here, look, breaks up above it, comes right back to it. Okay, comes right up here, stalls right out here, even when it breaks, comes right back to it. So no reason to really panic about anything there. So tomorrow's going to be interesting. We'll see what the Globex session brings. I'll be back here. We'll do the video in the morning, pre-market walkthrough, and we'll see what happens here. It's going to depend on if the buyers can take back control again, but uh, I'll leave it with for tonight that the buyers slipped a bit today, and there's some lower targets down here. Not a major sell-off or crash or something, just a little bit bigger correction. I think I said that in the video this morning, which was it was probably enough to at least put buying on hold for a little bit, meaning the predominant direction is not to continue to be up. And if I didn't say that in the video, then we did say right here. So breaking 21 would not be good for a higher scenario, and at a minimum should put it on hold for a bit. That's out of our map service. And then that did happen, and we did break 21, and so okay, great. And then we immediately flipped, and we got on sell side, and there was more. Once it broke down here, that broke to 1575 or 16, bounced back up here. We're selling this whole move down here. Okay, so we made it as soon as we knew that it was over on buy side. We flipped it and started shorting it. And again, we'll see what happens overnight, and we'll see how tomorrow plays out, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.